Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the Neca Gremlins 2 Deluxe Spider Gremlin. Now this is not a new release. This guy's been out for, 8 or 10 years. Apparently they have a re-release. I saw this guy on an end cap at Target, and I've read similar reports online around the country. They had 3 of these guys. I passed on him originally, as I really just don't need this figure. I got the Bat Gremlin to use with my Man-Bat figures, but didn't think I had to use for this guy, and I really don't, but he's just so cool. Getting this guy for a chance to get him at a fair price, had to jump at it. He could be great for Witcher or Spawn to fight, and just an overall really cool looking figure. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see, Neca Gremlins Spider Gremlin. Here he is, looking fantastic. Got a big old butt there. At the top, Gremlins, Spider Gremlin by Neca. Real toys. One side of the package, got the Spider Gremlin up close. Other side, a little further away. On the back, looks like we've got Magua here, facing off with the Spider Gremlin. He's got his torch. Little description, if you want to read that, go ahead and pause now. At the bottom, got a bunch of credits, and there's his barcode in case that helps anybody. So no further ado, let's open it up. Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. He comes with 8 legs that are separated when coming in the package, but they're not intended to be removed. He's got little vial that he drank to turn into the Spider Gremlin, and then he also has a display stand. Before we take a look at those, let's talk about and check out the actual figure. So this is the Spider Gremlin from Gremlins 2. Between him and the Bat Gremlin, we had some crazy cool Gremlin action going on. Now Neca's Gremlin line is kind of weird. Neca specializes in making 7-inch scale figures, but they did something different with the Gremlins line. Gremlins are very small creatures in the film, and they sort of made them compatible with their 7-inch line. But in order to do that, they really upsized the Gremlins. So they're compatible in the sense of they're much larger and kind of fit in with the 7-inch figures that way. But if you want an actual in-scale Gremlin with 7-inch scale, these are not going to work. Still, I got this guy because it's a giant, weird spider creature. And for that, I'm thankful he's large. So let's take a look at him. Starting with his face here, got that signature Gremlins look, articulated jaw, big ol' ears. He's got these fins on the back. It looks like a dragon. They're made of red. The detailing on the skin is very nice. Sculpting detail is great. Paint job is excellent. He's got all these different legs. It's going to be sort of the top part of the legs. You'll have to add the bottom part into there. And he's got a big old butt. Look at that thing. Little spike part at the end. And it has articulation. Really cool, kind of wild. Detailing all over this guy is just amazing. Looks like we got a little hole here for the display stand. Looks like single jointed elbows. Really impressed with this guy so far. He looks fantastic. I'm glad Neca gave me another chance to get this guy. I have no idea what he was selling for in the aftermarket, as is, probably a ton. This re-release should bring the price down a little bit. He also came with some instructions. If you look at the instructions, first of all, step 1, hold the figure's leg and look for the joint socket that's pointed in the arrow above. Once that's done, you want to dip the top half of his legs that are attached to him into hot water, soften it up, and then we can shove the bottom part in there. You don't see a lot of action figure instructions that are asking you to boil up some water and dip them in there. It's just kind of interesting. So he comes with a total of 8 legs. Yeah, he's an arachnid. They have 8 different legs. He has 6 of them that are longer, and then 2 smaller ones. Those are presumably for the front. Now the instructions tell you take the figure, the existing part of the legs right here. You'll take it, you'll dip this part into boiling water, soften it up, and make sure to leave the other legs cool. Shove them in there, and everything should be good to go. And then just looking at the Gremlin, looks like the way the legs are attached right now, you'd think you would just push them down and be able to attach it, but it looks like that's actually not right. It looks like you're going to want to take the leg and do something about like this, and then attach the other piece, kind of going downward, like so. It's going to be a long process. I'm going to heat up these legs, probably do 2 at a time, and start attaching the bottom parts. We'll start off with the front legs. So I went ahead and attached his front 2 legs. Now it looks like you're going to have to take all of his legs, sort of stick them kind of upward like this. Here's the front 2 attached there. Looking good so far. A little concerned his legs may not be able to hold him by themselves. Hopefully they will. He has a display stand to help sort of support him, but I really prefer not to use the display stands. We'll know shortly. Kind of a long process. I'll dip in his legs little by little and attach the bottom parts. Well, that took a minute, but now that I have all the legs in there, I let him cool off and decided to stand him up. He stood up just fine on the carpet. A little more resistance there, but put him on the glass table, and his legs are just sliding out from under him. It's kind of disappointing. I was really hoping I wouldn't have to have the display stand under him at all times, but it looks like that's what you're going to have to do. It was kind of a balancing act getting him to stay like this. Looks really nice, but all this weight is just going to end up bending his little claws over time. So, it's a gorgeous piece, but it definitely has some opportunities standing independently. And like I said, I really would prefer not to have him with a display stand. I'd love to have him sitting just like this. And just a closer look at his face and head sculpt, it actually looks absolutely fantastic. Now for his display stand, because of 2 separate pieces, when put together, it's going to look like this. It's got a large rectangular base, kind of hollow, and then this post sticking out. Here's a Spider Gremlin, utilizing the display stand. He definitely stands better, and his legs look better using this, although I'm not a fan of this giant display stand right in the middle. And here's his last accessory. It's a large vial of green liquid. See at the front, it's got a picture of a spider. It says flammable. In the movie, the gremlin took this, drank it, and then turned into the Spider Gremlin. Here's a Spider Gremlin holding that formula. Now that I've taken a pretty good look at the figure, his assembly, and his accessories, now let's check out his measurements. So this is sort of the default position the Spider Gremlin is supposed to be in. From bottom to the tallest point, about 8.5 inches tall. And as far as how wide he is, from one leg to the farthest leg out there, about 16 inches wide. He's a big boy. Now for his articulation. This might be a little bit difficult. He's kind of big, bulky, and hard to manage. Start with his head here. It's on a ball joint. It can rotate from side to side, like up and down, about that far. Pretty nice. He's got the articulated jaw here, open, shut. Shoulders on a sort of ball joint. Can't go out too far. Up, down, around, all the good stuff. You can kind of see the ball joint side of there. His elbow goes in about this far, extends about this far. It does have rotation as well. His wrist can rotate, and it's going to be hinged. He's got an ab crunch here, forward and back, like so. His legs, now each one has a ball joint in numerous places. We've ball joint here, go up and down, forward and back. He's got another ball joint here, forward and back, rotate. Pretty good range of motion there. No other joints here. All the legs pretty much have the same type of articulation. Then he's got his big old butt, forward and back, side to side. His little ball joint there, not a huge range of motion, but you can get the Spider Gremlin to torque a little bit. Here's an image of the Spider Gremlin utilizing the display stand, standing on all 8 legs, holding that toxin, the formula. Here's the Spider Gremlin terrorizing the city, rampaging on top of a building. Now let's check them out. Next to some other action figures, starting off with some other Gremlins figures. Here's a Spider Gremlin next to the Bat Gremlin. I don't have a lot of Gremlins figures. This is the only other one that I have. I got this one a long time ago to put into my Man-Bat display in my Batman world, and he still fits that bill. These are arguably the two coolest Gremlin figures out there, and I'm really happy to finally have the Spider one. And here he is, next to the McFarlane Witcher Kikamura. The Kikamura is another deluxe spider-type creature. Insane looking beast. Here's the Spider Gremlin, next to a 6-inch scale Spider-Man figure. And here, next to a custom Black Spider, this is a custom Batman Rogue. And I thought the Spider Gremlin would be a great opponent for a Witcher figure, maybe for someone for Spawn to fight. And of course, Constantine. Just an evil monster that any of these guys would try to fight against. I could definitely see this happening. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies, to see how he fits in, both scale and style-wise, in case you don't know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a NECA figure, they're typically the 7-inch scale, although this guy is way upscaled compared to a 7-inch scale version of this. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work my way smaller, and any action figure standing to this guy is going to feel extremely uncomfortable. Here he is, next to some Jack-specific wrestling figures, and here he is, next to some DST or Diamond Select toys. Here's this Gremlin, next to some McFarlane toys. Then, with some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures, and here he is, standing with his NECA brothers. NECA figures are typically 7-inch scale, but the Gremlins line are way upscaled, and honestly, it just makes sense to me. I would have it no other way. Then, with some Mattel wrestling figures, and now, next to some Jazzwares AEW wrestlers, and here he is, next to some Mezco 112 collected figures, then, next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures, and here he is, next to some Mafex figures, then, with some Hasbro Marvel Legends, and here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts action figures, and finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, this is a very cool, grotesque, deluxe, oversized monstrosity of an action figure. Sculpt and paint job are absolutely excellent. No issues there. He looks amazing. His accessories, he really just comes with the vial and then the display stand, which unfortunately is kind of required to display this figure. His articulation, I mean, it's a little bit limited, but there's no real bar set for a figure like this. He's very unique. My only real complaint about this guy is I wish his legs were designed a little bit better so you could stand him up without the display stand. Yes, it can be done, but I doubt it would be done for long periods of time, and it's really hard to do on sort of a smooth glass surface like this. But even on the carpet, if you stand him up like this and you want to display him like that, he's just going to bend his claws over time and warp the figure. If I were to rate this figure, I'm going to give him a very solid 8 out of 10. If only he could stand a little bit better, he'd probably be getting a 9 in my book. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say with the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.